behind me.
The most prestigious knockout cup football match that is played in Scotland is underway. The 136th Scottish Cup final. The strangest season of all is almost over.
I've paid my dues, time after time.
It could be the greatest season of all for St Johnstone. It's just their second Scottish Cup final.
Committed no crime and bad mistakes.
There's blood and thunder out there. Here's Wotherspoon. Sold Gogic the dummy. In comes the ball, and there is the goal. The man who won the League Cup for St Johnstone lands the first blow of the Scottish Cup final. It is St Johnstone legend Sean Rooney.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end.
And it is St Johnstone's Cup. It is St Johnstone's season. St Johnstone League Cup winners 2021. St Johnstone Scottish Cup winners 2021. Double winners.
We are the champions, my friend.
History makers.
We'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
I don't think I've got words to describe the effort they put in today.
It's an amazing achievement. I seen on Twitter the other day that it was 10,000 to 1, so you always take that.
The boys just defended for their lives at the end there, and it's unbelievable to see where we were at the start of the season to where we are now, cup double. Just want to say one last thing to my family back at home, watching my kids, my wife, mum and dad. Thanks.
We are the champions.
Jeez, oh, that's emotional, isn't it? It's episode 19 of Dogger Saints, an unofficial St Johnstone podcast.
The Saints are coming. The Saints are coming. I say no matter how I try, there's no reply. The Saints are coming. I say no matter how I try, there's no reply.
Well, the Scottish Cup's the oldest of all the trophies that can be won at football.
It's a real storied competition, and in my view, the Scottish Cup is the greatest competition in world football.
It's a chance for other clubs outside the big two for a genuine chance of silverware.
I'm trying to keep a check on my heart rate right now.
Two clubs steeped in history, still, that are in this final. I think it's going to be a fantastic occasion.
It's just too much for a boy like me. I'm just loving it. I'm living the dream this very minute.
I think it was Stubbsy that said it, and I think the majority of fans would say it, but it's definitely the Holy Grail.
This is the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail.
It's the Holy Grail of football.
With the 2014 Cup final, it was great to be a part of it. The day was brilliant.
Man if I haven't to win the Scottish Cup for the first time.
Everybody was so excited, so nervous as well. And then, of course, when we get the first goal, Andrew scored the first, and then when we get the second goal, it was just euphoria.
I think I was actually crying. I couldn't believe what was happening.
My dad never seen us win the Scottish Cup final. My granddad never seen it. And I'll be able to say to them, at the pearly gate, we won.
Callum Davison is probably the greatest Saint of all time now.
Callum and all the boys, every one of you, I wish you every best of luck.
Play your hearts out, that's all we can ask of you.
I want to make new memories this weekend, and I want to see Hibs lift that trophy.
Come on, the High
Come on, the High
On the high beat.
Come on, the wee Sainties!
Come on, the Perth Saints!
Come on, you Saints!
Come on, you Saints. Let's do the double. Woo, wow, we're here. It's episode 19 of Dogger Saints, an unofficial St Johnstone podcast. And in normal fashion, I am joined by the man who carried me home to my mother's on Saturday evening about 10 p.m. because I could no longer use the ability to walk. Stanley Williams.
Come on, Saints, let's do the double. That was my impression of you.
It was. That was very camp, wasn't it?
No.
That little montage,
Right.
if you watch the BBC coverage, that was the little montage bit at the very start of the show. That's me in the teal and magenta, and I sounded very, very camp. But how are you, Dan, anyway?
I'm just about recovered, I think, mate. Sunday was a difficult day because I just physically couldn't move off the sofa. So I imagine you were rough as well, because as you've already alluded to.
Oh, I was hanging, absolutely hanging at my arse. Today at work, I was working in what can only be described as a sauna, and the sweat was running down every part of my body. It was bad news. Like, I felt terrible. I went up to the Cherrybank yesterday to pick up Lynne's DJ equipment, because if anybody was at the Cherrybank, my wife was DJing. So I went up to pick up my stuff, and then I walk in and I see all the Saints team sitting up there in the balcony. That's like the first thing I went over. I went, I'm on the Dogger Saints. Where the fuck's El Paz? I was still a wee bit half drunk, I think. And then I met El Paz. What a lovely bloody man he is. First time we've met him in person, and he's got lovely soft hands.
Oh, I can imagine. You gotta look after them bad boys.
Yeah, well, you do. That's his payday, my friend.
But yeah, I mean, I will touch on this more later, but I was the one. Presumably when I was still pissed yesterday morning, sort of texting around everyone, oh, we're going out, we're going for a pint. And then basically as soon as I'd done it, I put the mockers on myself because then it all hit. But Saturday, what a day, mate. What a day. It's not quite sunk in yet. And weirdly, I'm feeling, this is going to sound ridiculous and a shit way to start things off, but there's almost like a feeling of emptiness because now it's all done.
I know.
It's over. But I think in a couple of days, and then from then until the end of time, look back on that day and just think, my word, that was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I genuinely don't know what to say before.
Because it's very wispy.
It is. It's basically like when you're like 13 or 14, you just start developing facial hair and you try and grow a cool badass moustache, but that's what he's kind of sporting, and I'm down with it. Maybe that's what he's going for. Maybe he's going for a moustache. Jackson Irvin's got one.
Yeah, the Australians, though, and yeah, they're weirdly good at moustaches.
They are weirdly good at moustaches. Oh, before we kick off proceedings today, I must say hello to Charlotte and Murray McCaskill. They sent in a thank you announcement, a good luck announcement last week for the cup final, and for some reason it never went into the mix. And I felt really terrible because we were both very, very excited. So hello to Charlotte and Murray McCaskill. We did have your little thank you message, and we made sure that everybody could hear it.
Yeah, our apologies there. It was obviously just a little mistake. Hopefully this sort of makes up for it. That wasn't the only good luck message that didn't make it in that was sent to you.
Oh, I never put your one in either, Dan.
No, you clown.
Oh, man.
To be fair, it wasn't so much of a good luck message as me bigging myself up and slagging you off for about a minute and a half.
Well, here it is here. I'll put it out now for you, for your benefit. Here it is.
Hello. I saw your tweet, Sam, and I'd just like to pass forward my very best wishes to the team for Saturday's cup final. I'm a regular listener to the Dogger Saints podcast, and I think it's pretty good. I mean, the Scottish lads, all right. The English one, he's top banter, and he's fucking top bagging that kid. But yeah, good luck to the team. That is.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
He raises some good points.
Tell you who doesn't raise a good point, me, by putting my phone out on the internet. I'm surprised I never got more abuse or dodgy.
I couldn't believe it when you did that.
I trust the internet. I trust the internet with all my heart.
To be fair, anyone who's going to give you dog's abuse probably has your number anyway.
Speaking of dog's abuse, I was on Pure Radio, the Robin Galloway Breakfast Show, Pure Radio, dishing out a bit of abuse with producer Rooney. Did you hear it?
I did hear it.
He didn't stand a chance, did he?
No, he absolutely, bless him. You had him on the canvas there, mate. He was never getting up off that.
So basically, we had a 20-second roast battle where we had 20 seconds to slag each other off. This was, I must note as well, live. And they had no idea what I was going to say. I'd had cleared it with my wife, Lynne, to say, is this acceptable for breakfast radio? Remember, this went out at 8:05 in the morning. So apologies to any parents who were offended by the word semi and not in relation to a cup final. But here it is, for if you've not heard it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Well, Sam's married to Lynne Hogan, right? Which must be quite hard for him because, she's so much cooler and so much more famous than him. A bit like Perth being next to Dundee, actually. St Johnstone aren't even the biggest team on Tayside, right? Dundee United beat Barcelona, and 2 days later, St Johnstone lost to 4 for Athletic, which is pretty much their size. Now, Sam's from Perth, which is a place so unimportant.
Oh, we're out of time.
Well, Rory, it's no surprise you support Hibernian. They're a lot like your sex life. Firstly, you both usually struggle to get past a semi. And like Hibs, you can't seem to perform under pressure and you always end up leaving a lot of people disappointed. Finally, you and Hibs are also not anywhere near as big as you think you are. But on the bright side, Rory, at least you'll get a pumping on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, man.
Excellent. You went for my sex life.
Excellent.
That was very, very good.
You should be embarrassed, Rory.
Alana?
Sam pretty much blew you out the water,
I'm afraid
Rory.
you were trounced, man. That was like 3 or 4-0. Sam, well done. Very, very good.
Thank you very much.
That was all right, eh? Did okay.
Very good, Sam. Semi. What's a semi?
Have you ever tried to thumb in a softie? It's like the stage before that. The stage after that, I should say.
I enjoyed this whole concept of a roast battle. It was like a cross between a Dean Martin comedy roast and the seminal 2002 motion picture 8 Mile.
It was indeed, but with less spaghetti. But there was plenty of vomit. There's vomit on his sweater already. Pie and beans. That's what it is. We need to have changed the line to that.
I know. I was stood next to you while it was happening.
I'm not good at it. I'm genuinely not good at it. Maybe I should do more of it. Maybe I should do more of the drinking to get myself on a more...
To be fair, you shouldn't be taking... This was during my second win. You shouldn't be taking lectures from a man who had to go and sit outside the club on top of a barrel for an hour.
An hour? Were you away for an hour?
Well, it felt like it was probably only about 20 minutes.
Should we touch on the game?
Yeah, let's talk of our nonsense and more talk of an unbelievable, historic, just tremendous achievement by an unbelievable, now historic, absolutely tremendous football team.
Well, I couldn't have put it better myself. And do you know what I've not hit yet? This.
Double.
Nice, real nice. That'll be the last time I play this. Actually, it won't be. I guarantee it won't be. No. We're playing it in the club as well on Saturday, I remember.
Yeah, we were.
We did a bit of dancing.
It was, honestly, mate, and look, we all know my sort of backstory when it comes to Saints, and I would have enjoyed it more if we were there. I don't think I've enjoyed a day of football more. It just being there with my mates, watching that team do what that team did on Saturday. And I've done, by and large all season, or certainly the second half of the season, I should say. It was fucking brilliant, mate.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, but we'll need to touch on the game. Where will we start with the game? Well, we'll start by looking at the team lineups. Edouard came in to start his first game for the match. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a surprise inclusion.
French Eddie.
Really.
2 number 4s in the team, McCart and French Eddie, both in the starting lineup.
Well, you can't... It was a bold approach to sign Odsonne Edouard, but it paid off. I don't know. Obviously, it was just pissing about with the graphics, and it found its way in. But
who was missing from the lineup? Was it Middleton? Was that who was supposed to be in there?
I think it was Glenn, yeah. I thought the lineup was... Look, it was always going to be a strong lineup. We spoke about it last week.
Oh!
It's pretty much that squad. Folk can just come in and out, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
I'll tell you what did happen, though. We called it. We called the team right. We did
call it.
Unbelievable. For the first time going into the last match of the season.
Did we not have Craig instead of Bryson?
You said Craig or Bryson?
No, we did say Craig or Bryson.
We did.
No, I'm counting this.
We said, that we're Milton, Speedy and Kane up top. We called it. So we'll take it.
Live it up big time, pal. We're now calling things right. It's gone full circle.
It's only taken 20 episodes to get there, but we've done it. But so, the strongest starting 11 we thought that they would put out, and it was the one we thought every player in that team deserved their spot. Strong bench as well.
It was a strong bench, and I think that showed towards the latter stages of the game, because obviously emerged that Rooney was playing with a little bit of a knock.
Yeah. And
I think by the looks of things, it all just caught up on him. But I thought when Brown came on, he looked really good. How good was... Mikey came on, did really well. But there was the one sub. Yeah.
Murray Davison was superb.
He made it. I thought Craig Bryson had a tremendous game in the middle of the park. He really did. But if you wanted someone to come on to get you through the last half hour of a cup final, Murray Davidson doing it. And that's taking all the emotion of things to one side. But yeah, bringing emotion back into it. After what that guy's sort of been through in terms of cup finals in his time at Saints, for him to get on for half out and play such a massive role was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. Yep, and he did well. Let's go to the first half. You touched on Bryson. He actually managed to set up Kane for the first chance of the match, which was unlucky. He just needed to let the ball drop just a bit. He managed to prod the ball through. Kane just kind of took a shot at it. If he waited maybe just a quarter of a second.
It was just a little bit snatchy. That's all it was. He got everything else right. His body shape was right. He got between the defenders, done everything else right. I think he was just a little bit keen to get the shot away. And when you try to hit something on the volley, or you need to get it right. And if you don't get it right, it generally doesn't go close. So I don't think it was as bad an effort as maybe it looked to the naked eye, but it was a lovely build-up. It was a fantastic ball through from Bryson. Our mate Craig Bryson.
Friend of the show, Craig Bryson.
Yeah, friend of the show, Craig Bryson. And then other than that, I thought, it was, again, clear-cut chances were at something of a premium. Hibs had a couple of efforts in the first half.
Jackson Irvine, he had was that a decent shot, or was it a snatch shot, or did he take it early, or was it a half chance?
I think it was a little bit like Chris Kane's actually. I think he was just a little bit snatchy.
Yeah.
But again, it was one of them that it was just the timing of it. He did everything else right.
Clark's standing foot that managed to block it away. And that was the only real massive save that he really had to do.
It was, but it was a good save. It was a very good save.
Well, I'll tell a lie, he had to tip one over the bar in the second half from a big looping cross to the back post that was sneaking under. Remember that? That
would have been the all-time fluke.
Yeah, that'd have been a right bastard. But Middleton I'd say he had a good chance. Gogic did very, very well to recover. Middleton seemed to skip past everybody, and it was a surefire shot on target. Can't say it was going to be a goal, but Gogic did very, very well.
He'd have worked Macy. He certainly would have worked Macy with that. But yeah, you've got to give credit where it's due. For Gogic, who we'll come back to later, I actually thought, aside from what we're going to come back to later, he does a really good job for them, and that's exactly the job he's there to do. And Middleton, obviously, it was such a brilliant run. I thought this is going to be one of the all-time.
Yeah.
Looking back, I was like, that could have been one of the all-time great goals.
It reminded me of the Witherspoon one in the last cup final.
It did.
But the shot, he got the shot away, but it just wasn't to be at the end. It was too far at the keeper. But this one, obviously, it was tapped at the box. But before we get to Gogic, who I think is still stuck on the roof at Hampden, McGinn and Spooney. This was the next incident in the match. And was it a stamp? Was it a bit naughty? Was it an accident?
You don't know. There's only Paul McGinn who knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give the referee credit here. I think the referee had the young lad referee, being younger than both of us. That was sickening. But refereeing the cup final. But he's, I thought he had a good game. I thought he let things float. To my eye, having played a bit of football, that leg did not come down at a natural angle. I can understand why the ref didn't take further action on it. I really can. I think he's done him. I think he's going to do him there. And whether he's just got a bit of red mist, bit of heat at the moment, your leg doesn't come down a foot behind you.
No.
There's just no way it does. And from where his body was, as I say, this is just to my eye. But I've watched enough football in my life, played enough football to know that isn't a natural angle for your leg to come down at. And so I think he got away with one.
Did you see the injury? Have you seen a picture of it?
It's horrible. It's an absolute raker.
Yeah.
It's all, all over Spooney's gut is his studs.
His gut.
His gut, yeah. But hey ho, it was one of them. I personally think he should have walked, because I think it was a little bit stamped, but I can see why the ref didn't give it.
Yeah, it was clever if he meant it, but if he didn't mean it, then we apologise to Paul McGinn, but it was still pretty nasty. Now, we could describe what happened next, but I think we should leave it to the excited tone of Saints TV commentator Stephen Watt and co-commentator Ross Gardner.
Bryson and Witherspoon there.
Superb sliding tackle there from
Brilliant
Callum
stuff from
Booth.
Callum Booth, and that breaks for Witherspoon. He feints and he comes into his right foot, looks for Sean Rooney at the back. Stick, that's it! Oh! St Johnstone have taken a lead here at Hampton.
It's Sean Rooney again!
It's Sean Rooney, it's David Witherspoon supplying the ammunition, and Sean Rooney's header across the face of Matt Macy finds the net, and it's St Johnstone who storm into a 1-goal lead here at Hampden Park against Hibernian in the 2021 Scottish Cup final. Ross.
It was the half-hour mark in the League Cup final when Sean Rooney surged in at that post to header home for St Johnstone, and here he is once again.
Well, deja vu.
Deja vu all over again, mate. But I'm going to try and dissect the goal as best I can, because when watching it, and we just fucking completely lost the plot when it went in. It was, I did about 3 laps of the club.
Yeah, I remember what happened. The goal went in and I just quickly put my mask on my face and stood up, applauded, then sat back down and removed my mask again. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. Yeah. Now, it's come from our mate Craig Bryson, friend of the show.
Yep. 4, I would say, stages to this goal, starting with Bryson.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good interjection, Sam. So our mate Craig Bryson, friend of the show, he's actually lost the ball. No, he's very cleverly set the whole thing up by giving it to the Hibs fullback.
Who's shit? So there we go.
Yeah, fair. And then, so that was the first stage. But he got into a good area, and the whole sort of, this is what we talk about with Saints, how they work. And again, not going into analytics or anything like that, but because I don't have a clue. Saints have gone on attack, got into an area of the pitch. You've got 3 of them there. So that's what allowed the sort of next stage, which was just an unbelievable bit of football, I'm going to say, from Callum Booth. And he just saw the ball was there to be won. Not once, but twice. And he wanted it more.
Yeah.
He wanted it more. And that's how he got it. Twice. Fucking twice.
For a man who didn't have a club before he joined St Johnstone, now he's won 2 cups. What a fairy tale story for him.
And you know what? He deserves every bit of it. And he's not always been first pick at Saints. He's had to bide his time for opportunities, but he doesn't seem like the kind of lad who'd be sulking and skulking about that.
I noticed Tanzer was on the bench. Is he still injured? And was that just so he could get a medal, or is he back fully fit?
I know, apparently got back into training this week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which is good. And I like Scott Tanzer, and I think he's done a fine job. I just thought that was an unbelievable bit of football from Callum Booth.
It was, and he got the ball played out to David Witherspoon.
Yeah, and what happened next, I didn't appreciate how funny it was at the time. Because I just was like, Spoonie's done the chop.
On the build-up in the BBC programme, they actually talked about it. There was a feature on the Spoonie chop that is going to be called the Spoonie, that this is what he does.
Yeah, that is exactly what he does. He does the chop. It's his stock in trade. And how do people keep falling for it? Because he's done it all his career.
How is he not being found out?
They must. Well, no, this is the thing, though. They must know it's coming. They must know that's what he's going to do, or he's going to try and do. And they still fall for it. But just, there's obviously some sort of voodoo going on there in those boots. But
because Gogic not only fell for it, he's still falling for it now. I don't think he's landed yet.
So funny. I mean, that was absolute sort of Chuckles University attempt to block it. I've just said I thought Gogic maybe probably Hibs' best player on the day. But it's like, I don't know, it's like you're playing 5-a-side and you've just got a bit desperate and you try to put someone off, so you just like sort of jump. And he's obviously thinking the cross is coming in from Spoonie's left boot, which was his first mistake. And he's got across, he's like jumped to cover that. But it was like someone, I don't know, I think there may be a great Photoshop opportunity there for sort of Gogic turning up in moments of history. Like, you know, he should be jumping in front of Kennedy to protect the bullet.
It was good. It was, whatever happened, it was
protect him from the bullet.
But it gave Spinney literally about 5 seconds to look up, pick his cross, and Rooney, who ran in from a good 30 yards out, like put the sprinters on, got into the position, and Spinney putting a pinpoint accurate cross. It was a fantastic ball, and there he is again. He set up one in
in 2014, set up the first up bit from corner. But when you need a delivery in a situation where, in a big game, he does it time and time again. He gets it absolutely spot on. And he did that time. And then, as you say, stage 4 of the goal, Sean Rooney coming in. I mean, the boy Doig at left back, he looks a good little player. I'll be entirely honest with you. He's done fabulous for his age. But he's never winning an aerial battle with Sean Rooney.
No,
he's just not.
I don't know many people that would, because the guy is a colossal man mountain.
Oh, he's absolute man. And he's also just a big lunatic. Loves heading the ball.
Yeah.
And what a header it was, though, because he's given, from that angle, to be fair to him, it would have been easy to sort of cloth it a little bit or to try and get the direction on it. He could have just stuck it right at Macy's, into Macy's mitts. But he's given him no chance. He's bulleted it to the side of him. It was a fantastic header. And 32nd minute.
Done it again.
Cup final, Sean Rooney.
The campaign starts now. After the success, Dan, of our hashtag Announce Parish, which took the grand space of 16 hours from launch to conclusion, we're on a bit of a roll on the St Johnstone Dogger Saints podcast.
We had a few unsuccessful campaigns. In fact, we've no unsuccessful campaigns.
Not yet.
We've just got campaigns pending.
The Nick Dazovic for the St Johnstone Hall of Fame, that's still going on. If you go to our Twitter page, on our pinned tweets is the campaign. So you can click on that, the top tweet, picture Nick Dazovic, sign the petition. We're almost at our total that we want to get to, so we'll be drawing that to a close probably this time next week. So go into our Twitter page at Dogger Saints and get that signed. The Teal Magenta campaign rolls on regardless. As much as Bev does not want Teal Magenta, everybody else does.
We keep going. We go again.
Oh, the chicken chorizo pies. Chicken chorizo pies never came through.
No, that never came. Well, no, it's still pending. Still time for it.
It is indeed.
I'm not giving up on this.
Aye.
I've got many more Simpsons memes to annoy the admin with.
Indeed. But our latest campaign, our number 32 is the name of the campaign. With goals in the 32nd minute in both cup finals, we want Sean Rooney to have squad number 32. It's a kind of modern twist on the May 17 thing, because that was big. But having Rooney 32 in the back of your shirt, it's a proud reminder of what he's achieved this season.
There's some severe big dick energy behind it as well. It's like, look at me. I keep scoring goals in the 32nd minute of cup finals. I'm going to wear it on my back. What have you ever done?
So are we going with that as a hashtag? Hashtag big dick energy.
Hashtag big dick energy.
Hashtag our number 32. Hashtag big dick energy. Now, I tell you what isn't big dick energy. People that pointed out that he scored in 30 minutes and 53 seconds or whatever. Technically not the 32nd minute, but we're taking it. We're taking it.
What did it come up as on the screen?
32.
When it said what minute? 32. Yeah. There you go.
We'll take it.
They had to. What's it? You've got to factor in the time for the line-out to decide whether it's crossed the line or not. There you go. Sorted.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
We'll take it. So, but there's not really a campaign for this one. We don't need to get you to sign anything, but we did put up a post on our Twitter page again. I will put it on Instagram. We'll get some nice fancy graphic made up, and if you can get that shared out, that'd be great, because I think it's a marketing genius move by St Johnstone, like the May 17 thing. If they make Sean Rooney squad number 32, but the man himself has replied, and his exact words were, class act. Or class that, I should say.
Class that. It is Sean Rooney endorsed.
He wants it. He should go with it. Hashtag big dick energy.
Hashtag our number 32. Hashtag big dick energy. Hashtag announce parish.
Just announce him again. Give him another deal. Give him a 2-year deal. 1 year is not enough.
Yeah, keep it answering.
Hashtag soft hands. Anyway, where were we?
I don't know.
We're going off the boil.
I lost myself somewhere around big dick energy. Rooster's going off pointing like Dennis Taylor.
Yeah, it was real nice. It was an understated celebration.
It was an understated celebration. Yeah, I don't. But I think it was just it was still quite intense in its own way. I think it was just like, which is, it was still an hour to play. The rest of that half sort of played out by and large without much incident, I'd say. I think we're going to the second half.
Yeah, well, already Shelley Kerr's wrong because she said it was going to be 1-0 Hibs. So that's funny.
She was wrong. But, we sort of need Shelley on board because...
Stick to your 6 tips.
The staples of that performance... Yeah, the staples of that performance in the first half were length, width and depth.
You need length, you need width, and you need depth.
There we are. Still got it. Still there. So second half.
Shelley, love.
Penalty.
They never make it easy, did he? No, speaking of penalties, we don't want to overlook the sort of absolutely bizarre handball shout Hibs came up with against Jamie McCart.
Yes. It was a clearance.
It's baffling.
It was
his foot.
It was
I don't know what they saw. They obviously saw something.
It was closer to my hand in the pub than it was to Jamie McCart's hand, the ball I'm talking about. It was ridiculous. It was...
Yes.
Because I was like, they're all shouting, and I was like, oh, what have I missed? What have I missed? And we're all kind of looking a bit nervous at each other and looking at the ref to see what he's going to do. And then we watched the replay back and we're like, come on now.
I have no idea where they made this up from. But we'll ignore that because thankfully the ref didn't have glaucoma and he could see that it hit his foot. It was baffling. Anyway, another penalty.
But we've had some dodgy penalties against Hibs this season. Remember the one that got given up in Aberdeen, which nobody knew what it was for, and against Hibs in the last minute. I think it was near the start of the season. When we lost 1-0, last minute penalty for God knows what. So we've had a couple against us this season, certainly. But
the Aberdeen one was surreal. I'm still trying to work out what the hell that was given for.
That was during the dark times. We don't like to talk about that period of St Johnstone's this season. But Saints were through on goal. A ball played over the... No, but the ball was played through... Was it Porteous or Gogic who took a swing and a miss? Was it Porteous?
It was Porteous, yeah.
Yeah, swing and a miss. Kane goes through on goal, gets nudged off by McGinn, I believe. And that was his first booking of the match. Could have been might not have even been on the park by this point. But Middleton steps up to take the penalty. And
fair play to him, because I was thinking, I'm like, Liam's not on the pitch. Stephen May's not on the pitch. Tanz's not on the pitch. Who the hell's going to take it? I thought it'd been Booth. Thought it could have been Booth after his one in the quarterfinal and the shootout. Everyone was saying, let Jason take it. I don't think he could do that again if he tried.
No.
That penalty he took in the quarterfinal. I thought Spoonie might have had a goal. But no, Glenn Middleton stepped up. It wasn't a bad penalty.
No.
I mean, it sort of was because he didn't score it. But it was a decent enough strike. He just didn't hit the corner. Keeper guessed the right way. Good save. Actually, it was a double save because Kane was coming in on the rebound. Could have killed the game there and then. But
there was nervy. It got their tails up a little bit, but to a man, I don't think anybody was going to stop Saints winning that cup at the end.
No. Another the half of penalty incidents. Martin Boyle, I'm going to put it diplomatically, trying to buy one.
Cheating bastard, yeah.
Yeah, it was a dive. Yeah. The ref saw it as much. Boyle knew when he got up. It was diving doesn't bother me as it does, as much as it does other people. I was way more bothered by the stamp in the first half.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mate, it was absolute. The ref didn't buy it, and that's the end of it. Fuck him. And
fuck him right in the pussy.
That what? Yes, good. Anyway, and that was pretty much that, mate.
It was. St Johnstone have won another cup. Unbelievable. I still can't. It's not sunk in. It is not sunk in. Just what we've managed to achieve this season.
I've said it a million times. Just what a thing for people of Perth and all the St Johnstone fans everywhere to have. It's been extraordinary.
Yeah, and not just the fans, the players as well, as summed up by the David Witherspoon interview after the match, which you heard at the top of the show. Emotional, rightly so. I think it got to absolutely everybody that listened to it.
Oh, Christ, I was gone. Absolutely. Just absolutely got to me that. And it's good to see good things happen to good people. And that's most certainly the case with this squad. And I think that's part of why they've been as successful as they have. And I read a quote. It was Ollie Solskjaer actually said something like, his exact words were, "I'd rather have a hole in the squad than an arsehole." And that's
good.
Yeah. And like you're thinking, and then you're like, that makes sense. Because if you've got a good bunch of people in a squad together, led by a good person, or in fact, the whole coaching squad as well, then things are going to work out for you because you're all going to be pulling in the same direction. You're all going to want to do it for each other. And I think every good football team has that largely at the core of it, that togetherness and that team spirit. And it, they you can see it on the pitch. They're not frightened of telling each other
No.
You know, what they think. And you need that in a football team. Christ. You don't, 11 quiet blokes don't win anything. But if you're playing for each other as they are, and you look at the epitome of that for me is that boy up front, Chris Kane. You don't need to be some sort of football expert to know that for a centre forward, he doesn't score a lot of goals.
He does the ugly stuff, does the running off the ball, takes the fouls, makes space for other people coming through, runs into spaces where he knows he's not going to get the ball, but he does it brilliantly. The hard work and running and graft keep it in, chasing after balls, jumping for headers he's never going to win, does all of it.
Saw someone on Twitter say he could win a foul in an empty room, which I thought was pretty good. But no, you're exactly right, Sam. It doesn't matter to Chris Kane if he's scoring the goals or not. Same with Stevie May as well. It doesn't matter to anyone who's scoring the goals. It's the fact that it's someone in a blue shirt scoring the goals. So, 2 cup finals this year, right back scored the winning goal in both of them. Doesn't matter at all. Chris Kane works his absolute bollocks off for that team. And he brings other players into it. He brings other people into play. Won the penalty, which, normally, majority of the time does lead to a goal. He must be a nightmare to play against. Must be an absolute nightmare to play against.
I think Saints in general are a nightmare to play against.
Yeah, and it's because of the work ethic and because of what's been instilled in them by Callum Davidson. And we had a debate, I'm probably springing this on you a little bit here, Sam. We had a debate around the time of the League Cup final. Is Callum Davidson the greatest ever Saint? I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to argue otherwise.
Yeah. I remember you said that we should rename the stand the Tommy Wright stand.
I'm going to go with his nickname, Massive Kilmarnock Gobshite.
Yeah, he was coming out with...
Massive Kilmarnock Gobshite stand. I don't get what he's playing at, and it's unsavoury, and it's not that. Look, it doesn't change anything, really, but
he's probably right, though. He said it's probably the biggest game behind the Scottish Cup and the League Cup, but maybe slightly better than the League Cup. Probably the second biggest game in the cup. I get what he's saying, but he's also he's saying. He doesn't need to say it, and he's just trying to appease Kilmarnock fans, but he doesn't need to say it.
I think it seems like a little bit of a swipe at the knees, to be honest with you, which was unnecessary, but probably didn't mean anything by it towards Saints. It's just how it's been construed. But look, I still wish him all the best. In the game it's going to be played at the time of recording. It's going to be played tonight. Sort of do, because Dundee's an easier away day if we're back in the grounds next season.
One less plastic pitch.
Who knows? One less plastic pitch. But look, it's not. I don't think it's anything any Saints fan needs to worry themselves with. I think he's said it. He's probably not meant anything by it, really. Like you say, he might even have a point, but it just seemed like a bit of a swipe. Maybe if he'd ever won it, he would feel differently.
If he ever did the double. But do you want to get some guests on?
You know what, Sam? We've rambled on long enough, I think, for the time being. Let's hear from someone else.
Yeah, so that is our opinion as St Johnstone fans, but let's get the strong opinion of some Hibernian fans. We've got Calvin and Charlie on from the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. How you doing, fellas? You's okay?
I think okay is probably not the phrase I'd use after the weekend, but apart from that, I'm doing all right, mate.
We're probably a little worse off than you guys, But it is what it is,
It is. Talk us through it. What happened?
First of all, I think I'd just like to say, congratulations, what an amazing achievement for you guys, and as sore as it is, it is nice to see sort of when the dust settles, guys like Liam Craig.
Yeah,
I'm delighted for Liam Craig. At the end of the day, I liked him at Hibs. I did. I just think he came at a time where Hibs was a bit of a toxic place to be.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. Guys like Witherspoon, how can you like David Witherspoon, So congratulations to those guys. Very as well.
Very appreciated. Thank you very much.
They set a wholesome tone already, Sam.
They are. They're being too nice. They know that we're going to go absolutely ball deep on them. But why were you so shit?
I can take this one, Calvin. I think Jack Ross is a serial loser. He's a bottler, and it just showed again. And I think I'm still Jack Ross in, because I still think he's got the potential to be a good Hibs manager. But you just you can't set up that same way for the 5th game against St Johnstone this season and expect anything different. He's set up to be far too defensive. Martin Boyle, did he touch the ball apart from falling in the box? He never really done anything, and he's meant to be our best player. So you know, I think there's a lot of questions to be asked of the players, and we never turned up. Be all and end
I
all.
think for me, it's a case of the fact. I mean, we've been banging on about all season. Like, there's no leaders in that team. I mean, we go 1-0 down, and there's nobody that's saying, right, this is a fucking cup final.
Yeah.
This is a cup final. This is a cup we've won once in 114 years. Get your finger out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was me, I'd be going mental at other players. I mean, fair enough. I mean, it's obviously a different scenario being on the pitch, but there's no leadership. There's no one in that dressing room that if we're 1-0 down a cup final and I've maybe one of the big players in the team and I've been hiding a bit, I'm no feared of Paul Hanlon. If I go in there at half time, I'm no feared of Ken, Joel Newell, anyone in our team.
No.
I'm not bothered. There's no one that's, you know, like a sort of Scott Brown type of character, or even a Stephen Naismith for Hearts that's got to go through, boys. Shout out, boys. You know, maybe Darren McGregor a wee bit, but not enough in my opinion. There's no leadership, there's no accountability, lack of ideas in the middle of the park. I mean, did we even have a midfield on Saturday? No idea, no drive, no ambition, no creativity, no one willing to stand up and be counted. I thought, I mean, I didn't like speaking bad about players, but Joel Newell, like, he's no for me. He's a poor man Scott Allen, like, every day of the week. It's just not good enough. Has a few good games here and there. You know, he's more worried about how his hair looks than how he's playing. I just think
he's got lovely salon quality hair. There's no doubt about it.
He has, but fortunately, it's my money that's paying for that as well. That's what we get. That's what we're getting out. I just think for Hibs, it's just a lack of leadership. Really, I mean, I felt like every time we got the ball in the midfield, I mean, I don't know how many times we passed it backwards to the defence, centre backs, and I don't know how many times we passed it back. It was like watching freaking Pat Fenlon and Terry Butcher era. It was brutal, man. It was eye bleeding stuff. Like, it was pretty poor.
Big thing for me was that why did he drop Darren McGregor? He'd been playing the past 3 games and he was man of the match every game he played. Yeah. And he drops him for a final to play Ryan Porteous, who's nothing more than a bomb scare. Like, to not beat around the bush. And I think had we played McGregor and Hanlon, there's a bit of defensive unity there because they know how each other plays, and I still think that Hanlon and Porteous are still such a raw partnership. And I know they've played together most of the season, but if they don't know how each other plays this far into it, then there's something deeply wrong there with the two of them.
One of the things I was going to say there is when you talk about the leadership. I mean, I listened to one of Jack Ross's interviews after the game, and the thing that scared me most was apparently he said at half time, if we're going to lose this, we're going to lose it going out fighting.
Aye.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about
if
losing?
If we're going to lose it, we're going to go out fighting. Like, do you know what? Like, say if we did lose it, I can hold my hands up and I can accept defeat. But we never gave a good account of ourselves on Saturday. Like, that's no the team. That's not how we play. See the long ball, hoofing it in the air, stuff like that. Like, we've not done that all season. The only other time we do that is when we play Hearts. All the passing and moving and everything we try and do goes out the window. It was horrible to watch, but stuff like that for Jack Ross, I mean, that's coming for the head man, eh? But if we're going to lose it, we're going to go out fighting.
Which, yeah, I heard that as well.
Not the message I would have sent.
No, sports scene. You don't want to mention losing at certainly half-time in a game. No, it's the last thing you talk about is losing. Yeah, if you go losing, just work hard, eh? And you can't ask any more. You can ask more.
I don't even think they worked hard, eh?
No,
I don't even think they worked hard.
But
very poor.
But he had his cardigan on.
He's got a good range of cardigans.
He's got a good dress sense, Jack Ross, but he's tactically inept in big games. Like, I know he's just beat Aberdeen and whatever, but like, come on, it's a Scottish Cup final, the biggest game of the season. You can't get your boys. To be fair, you didn't need motivated for a cup final.
No, you shouldn't know.
Like, it's a cup final. Like, we never turned up, and it was actually worse to watch than the 5-1 game, because at least the 5-1 game we had a bit about us to get to 2-1, and then it went to shit. But like, at least on Saturday we had no desire.
That was part of the reason that 5-1. That was part of the reason why it did go to shit, because you were just going. Because you were trying to get back into it, we're going forward, and unfortunately, that can happen.
I mean, we went forward, but I swear to God, we could still be playing now, and I didn't think we would have scored. Seriously, there was not one time going forward did I think Hibs were going to score. They just looked so flat and so just nullified of ideas going forward. It was out in the wings. It was back to the centre halves, and no one put their foot on the ball and just had a strike. I mean, if you look at Doidge up at Aberdeen last 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, I mean, he's hit a volley that's just out of nothing. But there was nothing, man. There was nothing at all, eh? But I do think as well. Sorry to interrupt you. I just think as well, like Jack Ross has taken a lot of flack, and rightly so. But to be honest with you, I'd probably, except for Macy and maybe Doig, because he's a young laddie, do you know what I mean? He's 18 years old. I don't think anyone gets pass marks. Like, they were all very poor. I mean, I think Jack Ross picked the best team personally. I know a lot of folk, Charlie, I know you say McGregor and that, but I think his tactics were try and go 1-0 up, 70th minute, bring McGregor on and try and see it a win. You know what I mean? Take the attackers off, bring defenders on, try and see it a win. And unfortunately, it's no worked for him. If he'd started McGregor, other folk would be saying he should have started Porteous. It's 6 and 2 threes really, but
you can't.
It's a hard one.
But the thing is, though, we played you in the league with the same formation. We beat you 1-0 with Liam Craig goal. We then go to Easter Road with a completely changed team, but with the same tactics, and we beat you 1-0. We turn up at the cup final with exactly the same tactics, and the thing is, you hadn't scored. The League Cup final League Cup semi-final as well. Different team, but the same tactics. It's the same tactics in every single game we've played against you, and it was the same result. I don't know how Jack Ross didn't see that coming, but you can look at the other hand where if he changes his tactics for the final and it goes to shit, then you'd be like, well, why did you not stick with what got you to third in the league? So that's the flip side of that. But the only other time when a team tried to match us was Livingston in the League Cup final, where Martindale decided to put Marvin Bartley on the wing to try and take out Sean Rooney, and still made a cunt of it.
I thought we just set up to contain the threat that St Johnstone had, and then hopefully nick our goal, and that was it. But I mean, from the first 15 minutes in, I'm like, we're not scoring today because we had nothing going forward. And I couldn't tell you a time in that game where Kevin Nisbet done anything being selected for the Euros. You know, I think if that's one of our strikers got the Euros, we're in danger. I don't think he'll play much, but you know, it's the same. Like he's our top scorer, and he never got into a cup final. Like it's just embarrassing to watch.
But the thing is, though, at least you've got representatives at the Euros from Hibernian. We don't, which is an absolute sin.
You were robbed. You were robbed of that. Xander Clark, I would have had in there.
I would have had Jason Kerr. You could have picked any of the back three. Rooney maybe as well.
I mean, how's Gallagher a better player than Kerr?
He's not.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Our season was decided, which we'll talk about later on, how Millwall decided to recall Danny McNamara, which gave Sean Rooney his chance in the team. So that's what we've pinned all our... It's amazing how things work in football, but that's kind of what it all came down to. Millwall recalled him, Sean Rooney came in, and the rest is kind of history, but he probably deserves a spot.
Right. Mad thing was, we thought that was a disaster at the time. Danny Mac going back, because he'd probably been... It wasn't much of a competition, but he'd probably been our standout player sort of first 5 months of the season, or however long it was up until the turn of the year. Like Danny Mac could be unreal, but yeah, it's just how it works out. But I like what's it called, Jack Hendry's tactic of getting into the squad for the Euros. Go to a league that nobody's going to fucking watch, and then just nobody can prove that you're doing shit.
Same as Ryan Gold. Calvin's gone again. He's out of here.
He's had enough. Yeah,
I'm not talking about who gives a fuck about Jack Henry.
It's sent him over the edge.
Who gives a fuck about Jack Henry? I'm out of here. As somebody, we spoke to a few players, few Hibs fans, and we've asked them the same thing. Oh, he's back. There you are, Calvin. How you doing?
I don't know what's going on. Sorry, boys.
No, I'm just a fan of Jack Hendry. That's what it was. We just had to take a minute.
I draw the line at building football. I'm out of here. At the start of the season, a cup final, a cup semi-final, and third in the league. You would take it, surely.
You'd take it. You would. It's difficult. It's difficult, man. I mean, if we'd lost that, as I said, but gave a good account of ourselves, there's not much you can do, But I just feel like the way we lost it, the manner we lost it, it was so frustrating. And I think the frustrating thing for the fans is, I mean, there's been a lot. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but the boys were out celebrating, having a champagne and that. Big Doidge was opening up a bottle of champagne. And do you know, for me, I mean, I could barely speak to my girlfriend after it. Yeah, I could hardly speak. I was so upset. I had to take the dog for a walk and clear my head. Do you know what I mean? I was naeing I had no inclination to have a drink or anything. I mean, that was so disappointing for me. Like,
But we'll finish up. Jack Ross at the helm. What's the big picture for next season?
as far as I'm aware, I've seen Jack Ross saying that he's trying to school. His plan is to sign young Scottish talent.
Okay.
I mean, he's already got Kyle McGuinness there. Stevie Mallon will come back from being on loan. Who else is really in and around that? Griffiths might come back. I think we'll probably lose Nisbet. I think we'll lose Nisbet. I think we'll potentially they'll be interested in Boyle. Porteous. I'm not sure if we'll lose Porteous, if I'm honest with you. But I think the core of that squad will still be there, and I think it's obviously deflating and disappointing having lost that cup final. But we put out a poll this morning, and I've thought about it long and hard. But I think there's no point in having this sort of revolving door at Hibs, because I mean we had who did we have? Did we have Fenlon? It was like, oh, he's no the answer. Let's bring in Butcher. I mean, Butcher was immense for Inverness.
Yeah.
And then it's like Butcher, comes in with a bit of bad attitude and that tells players are known his plans next year, gets relegated. He's no the answer either. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look back at the history, like, this happens all the time. Like, we have to give Ross a bit of time. Yes, he's disappointed us. Yes, he's disappointed us this season. Who else you got to bring in?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Who else? I mean, you bring in a winner in Lennon. The chat is that he went mad at Canberra and that and gave Canberra a hard time because he wasn't good enough, and rightly so, because he wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're too soft to take it.
That's the problem.
Don't know what the answer is.
No.
Just got to go again, eh? Just got to get back on the bike, I think.
I think so. I think you'll do well in the league next season. Well, the players will be back in training in about 3 weeks' time, won't they? For the Europa stuff.
I think so.
Aye.
Enjoy your summer, boys. Jeez,
Aye,
back you come.
We'll go nowhere with that.
But no, it was a pleasure having you on, guys. I really appreciate it, considering.
Really do.
No, we were nice to you. Is that your team are pish? It's all right. No, I'm joking. Not at all. Not at all. No. We appreciate you coming on. I know it can be easy, and if it was the other way around, where if you asked us to come on, we'd have told you to bugger off. No chance. But no, thanks for coming on, boys. Really appreciate it. And we'll hopefully catch up with you next season. Anytime, you're welcome anytime to come on.
Perfect, mate. Cheers. Thanks for having us on. And as I said, congratulations, mate.
Thanks again. Calvin and Charlie from The Strong
All the
Opinion.
best, lads.
The Strong
That's
Opinion.
one, boys.
Fuck's sake. Stop with the niceties.
He said it first, and then,
I'm trying to plug
He's
your...
still slurring his words.
Anyway.
I know. I'm trying to plug your podcast here, boys. So your podcast is available. Where can people listen to your podcast, chaps?
We're on the Recast app, which is Recast. If you listen to it, you get online credits, and then you pay to watch the video, and then the money goes to Hibs. I'm not sure it's doing much good, but and then you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, things like that, Google Podcasts.
Any good podcast host. It's The Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. Calvin and Charlie, it's great chat with them, and thanks again, boys, and we'll see you soon.
Appreciate it. Cheers,
thanks,
mate.
See you later.
Cheers.
I remember when they invited me on their podcast, and I was ready to tear them from limb to limb, but they're actually really nice guys.
Good lads, good sports coming on. It can't be easy for them. Obviously, still a little bit raw, because we're humping them in the cup final. But fair play to them. Really enjoyed chatting to them. Actually, really nice lads. So good luck to them. Good luck to them with the podcast going into next season.
Do you want a regular feature, but with a cup final twist?
Let's do it, Sam.
It's the Georgia Boy on the Royal. That song will work great at Christmas time when it's actually festive. We might play the whole version of it.
Good.
So, we've got a special cup final special, Georgia Boy on the Royal. If you're a new listener to the second biggest team in Scotland, hello, I'm Sam.
And I'm Dan, and it's nice to meet you guys.
Hello, welcome aboard. Now, this feature is called Georgia Boy on the Royal. This is where have you seen St Johnstone players out and about of McDermott? Now, we were inundated with videos and texts and pictures from people out and about yesterday who seen the Scottish Cup and League Cup double winners out in the piss in Perth yesterday.
What a fine time it looked like we were having. I'm going to get this out of the road now. I think there's a bit of regret from both me and you.
There is. I couldn't have had a pint yesterday, to be fair.
No, I genuinely couldn't have done. We didn't get to we didn't end up getting involved in all this because a couple of our mates were out and looked like they were generally having fucking brilliant time. But I was a little bit poorly.
Yeah, I got sent a photo from Christie's, what's it called now, King James pub.
King James, yeah.
And it was a photo of mate Ross sitting next to Sean Rooney, and he was giving him a nipple twister. That's the kind of content you want from a WhatsApp group chat on a Sunday night.
Yeah, so anyway, the boys, they had a thoroughly deserved big day out yesterday, out around Perth, most of the squad there. I think they had a good old kicking on Saturday night as well, by the sounds of things.
I think a few of them, not naming names, may have slept at the club.
Yeah, so absolutely, why not? Fair play to them. They're tremendous professionals, and they certainly deserve to let their hair down. If you can't let your hair down when you just secured a cup double, when the fuck can you?
Exactly. It's just a shame that there couldn't be more people out and about with them. Obviously, with pub numbers being restricted, it was very difficult to go and party with these guys. But they seem to have a great time. I text Liam Craig this morning, friend of the show, Liam Craig. He made it home last night, but he had a bit of his head. His kids were singing Pump It Up to him all morning, but he's going to... he was a wee bit heavy around the head, I think.
Heavy? Well, why not?
They thoroughly deserved it.
That's the vagaries you have to deal with in life. If you got to enjoy it like that, you got to pay the price.
Calling it Giorgio Boy on the Royal seems all well and good, but we're thinking of a new name for the feature. Just this week, if you've seen a current St Johnstone player, if you've seen a current St Johnstone player out in the piss, see, this is maybe if you've seen him on holiday. We'll do this feature at the first episode of the new season. Now, if you've seen a St Johnstone player on holiday, let us know. Where have you seen him on holiday? Got to be a current member of the current team? Get a wee photo with him. Send it in to us. Let us know. And this feature will be called Chris Caned. That was the best we could come up with in short notice.
Yeah, that was pretty much as good as we could come up with, but I'm still really, really happy with it.
Yeah, it's decent. So, well, the standard Giorgio Boy on the Royal will feature for any of the past St Johnstone players you've seen in places out with McDermott. But if you see a St Johnstone player on holiday, let us know. And it'll feature in our new feature, Chris Caned. Dan?
One more time. One last time this season. Babies, you got to let me know. You got to tell me. I need to know. I got to know. Where have you seen these Sainties on holiday? Current squad members. That's what we want first week back. So you let us know. For example, have you ever seen mainstay at centre half, big Liam Gordon, having a fine time down at Legoland Windsor?
May have been.
He fucking loves the roller coasters, the boy. And why shouldn't he? And then I need more. I need to give you more examples. I don't think you've got enough. So I want to know.
You try to make this up as you
Pretty
go?
much. Have you ever seen 3-time trophy winner for St Johnstone, Davy Wotherspoon? You might have seen him in the Las Vegas of the North, Blackpool. He's having a damn fine time down at Coral Island on the penny slots. Why shouldn't he be? Before making his way to Seniors Chippy for a damn fine slap-up fish supper. Sounds like what he'd do.
It does sound like something he would do.
He could do. You could have any of them. El Paz in one of them things where you put your feet in the fish tank to get his feet as soft as his hands.
Oh, that would be nice. And he probably does that as well. I bet his feet were dead soft.
They could well be. Who else have you got? They're all getting involved. And if you've seen it, you let us know. Ooh! Get there.
Yeah. Another good one, Dan. Do you want to get a guest on?
I think we probably need to now.
Now, we've had the perspective of the Hibs fans, but how about the perspective of somebody who enjoyed their big day out at the Cherrybank?
Well, that just sounds delightful.
It would be, but I have to speak to her all the time because it's my wife, Lynne. She DJ'd at the Cherrybank on Saturday. Let's find out how she got on. Here she is. Hi, Lynne.
Hi, Lynne.
Hi.
How you feeling now, Hen? You all right?
I'm a little bit jaded for a Monday. I know this is going to be out on Tuesday, but I feel that I might start feeling better by about Thursday, Friday.
That's not bad for you. So, you DJ'd at the Cherrybank on Saturday. How was it?
Do you know what? It was absolutely amazing. And I was a wee bit nervous because obviously this is the first gig that I've DJ'd at in over a year. So I was excited / nervous about that, but also because it was a big event. It's like the Scottish Cup final in Perth with tons of Saints fans. So I didn't want to fuck it up, if I'm being honest. But you know what? It went so well and the fans were great. I mean, it wasn't open the gates and everybody just piled on in. Everybody just arrived at a nice time. It was nice to see everybody just coming in, getting their seats, table service. So everything was very controlled. And yeah, it was a great day. And it was the first day in May, I think, that it's not rained. I mean, it was nice. The sun came out, which was great.
Which is a bonus there. Do you know what I was more nervous about for you on that big day? The fact that you had my Saints Away top on from 1992.
I know. Well, here's the thing. You did say to me, you can wear this top, and you left it out for me. I tried it on. I thought, this is quite nice, very comfy. And then I said, yeah, I'll wear it. And then you started giving me the rules of how I can wear it. Oh, just watch what you're doing. This is a £200 top. And you were like, I've seen what your t-shirts are like, obviously meaning because I wear fake tan. But it's fine. It's still in one piece. So we're all right.
Good.
Unlike the three of us.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I'm kind of shocked I made it back with no drink spilled down it, or there's maybe a couple of fake tan marks, but it'll go in the washing machine. That's fine. Sam doesn't know how to use the washing machine, so I'll sort that.
Yelling, but who's going to take the bins out though? That's the main thing. That's my main duty.
Is it? You seem to forget every Friday, but okay. Don't act smart now. You're on your podcast.
Anyway, so what was the big tunes? What were the big popular songs that you were belting out on Saturday then?
Well, obviously, a bit of Madness and Pump It Up, and I played the Venga Boys and a bit of everything. Do you know what? I played Gala Freed from Desire about 5 times because everybody went absolutely mental when it came on. But I did get a nice little montage on the go because Liam Craig had sorted out some nice wee messages from the team. So there was Liam Craig, Liam Gordon, Jason Kerr and Sean Rooney, and they all said, hiya to everybody at the Cherrybank, hope you're having a good time, we want to bring back the cup, etc. So yeah, I made a wee montage with Pump It Up, played that, everybody was going mental, everybody was really chuffed to hear that, and it was nice of the guys to do that. And yeah, after the full-time whistle went, it was a case of just squeezing in as many songs as I could in about half an hour. So it was just all of those songs on repeat. Pump It Up, Freed from Desire, Madness. Pump It Up, Freed from Desire, Madness. And then Queen, We Are the Champions.
Nice. We had that at the top of the show, and that was your handiwork, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I thought it would be nice to start the show with a little montage. And when I was at the Cherrybank, I happened to be behind the big screen when the goal went in. And I just knew, like, I didn't even have to check what had happened. I knew that St Johnstone had scored. The place erupted. It was insane. So I just thought it would be nice to get, like, you know, capture some of the atmosphere and the feelings, because we're all still in a really good mood after the weekend. So I put together a wee montage. It was quite emotional, actually. When I was making it, I actually felt myself getting tears in my eyes. Like, God, calm down, Lynne.
You usually cry when you're editing the podcast and stuff because, as you know, me and Dan are not the media broadcasting superstars like yourself.
Well, that's very true. I'm normally crying because you're trying to boss me about, like, you know better. Oh, do this, do that. Right, okay, Sam, no worries. This is my job.
So for anyone out there still listening, I'm still here and you are still listening to Dog of Saints podcast and not the Miller family domestic disputes.
Who does what? Well, you don't do this. Oh, you don't do that.
feel like pissing Jeremy Kyle.
What are you trying to say? We've both got all our teeth. Fuck's sake.
Well, it's a good point.
But if you think you've heard Lynne's...
I'll go with Judge Rinder instead.
That'll do.
Yeah,
but
more classy.
But if you think you've heard Lynne's voice before, that's because you probably have. As you'll know, she is the voice of the Flonix adverts on the Dogger Saints podcast. That's where you'll know her voice from. And that,
yeah, that's right. And obviously, if you listen to Pure Radio every day between 10 and 1, then you'll know the voice, which of course everybody does.
I always get that at work, actually. It's like, oh, why don't you listen to Lynne? I have to listen to you when I get home from work. I don't really need to listen to you. No offence, for another 3 hours when I'm at work.
What's wrong with my chat? Bloody amazing.
Lynne, it's been an absolute
pleasure. You need somebody else on this podcast, a third host. Get me on.
Get you on to find somebody.
No, get me on as your third host.
Well, we might have considered that.
All the banter.
We were considering that at one point, but you did come down to the Dogger after the match, and my last memory of the evening, it must have been about 8 p.m. before I flaked out, was you playing Simply the Best on the jukebox. That went down well.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. To be honest, I don't think that was me that pushed the button to say okay and play it. I'm pretty sure somebody else did that. I had to put the money in. But I did get the blame for it. But it's a party tune. We were celebrating.
Know your audience, Hogan.
No, it was a very good night. I just come down after it, and the Dogger was a lot of fun. Had a great wee Saturday night.
And if you remember correctly, after the last Scottish Cup final in 2014, exactly 9 months to the day after that cup final, we had our first child.
Yeah. Yeah, that won't be happening this time, though.
I don't think I
don't need to hear this.
If we have a child on the 22nd of February 2020, we know who to blame. Sean Rooney.
Nah, well.
Or for scoring a goal, not for you being pregnant. We have to add that in.
Yeah, that would be weird. That would be very strange. But also, yeah, like you say, you didn't have it in you. If anybody's been on social media, they would have seen the picture of you and Danny propping you up. I have to actually say thanks to Danny, because he did look after you. At one point he said, Lynn, what are you doing? Sam, I'm going to take Sam home. And I think my words were, nah, just take him home. I'm staying out.
Yeah, I was given I couldn't really look after myself by that point. Anyway, I do need to come in now, because we've talked about how you can hear Lynn's voice if you so desire on Pure Radio now. The amount of work Lynn does in the background for us on this podcast. Me and Sam really don't generally sound that good until Lynn's, fucked about making us sound good. So we do owe you a debt of gratitude.
Oh, Danny. And I also owe you one for managing to look after my other half on Saturday night whilst I just pissed around getting drunk and putting songs on the jukebox.
Get a room used to. This is fucking awkward. Bloody hell. And on that note, I've been glad you enjoyed your day. You've seen St Johnstone win 2 Scottish Cups in the time we've been together, and Rangers have had none since then.
Let's not go into that. But no, honestly, Saturday was absolutely amazing. I feel like we're all on a massive come down. I think because we had something to look forward to, and now it's just like, oh God, what are we going to do with ourselves now? Feels like this week's just going to be a bit of a letdown. There's nothing else in the calendar. But it was great, and everybody at the Cherrybank was amazing. The atmosphere was fantastic, and well done, St Johnstone.
But all we need to look forward to now is where Saints will get in Europe. # pray for Prague.
Well, listen, I don't know if you remember, but I'm pretty sure when we woke up on Sunday morning, although you were still kind of half-canned, I said I was coming. I said, I'm coming. And you went, fancy a European trip? And I was like, yes, I do. We'll get a babysitter and I'll be there.
No.
So,
do you remember the scene from Gavin and Stacey? We talked about it last week.
Mick? Oh, no, it wasn't. No, Mick was the one we talked about on Saturday after your BBC appearance was about 15 seconds.
Was that it, Mick?
It's just not the kind of thing you expect to see when you go to work in the morning. I did say this repeatedly at one point, so I must have been getting a bit pissed by the time I was saying that. But, it was jammy.
Jammy, that was it. One word.
Jammy.
Prague.
2 words. Piss up.
One more word.
Tits.
Yeah. And on that note, thanks, Lynn. We'll see you later.
Thanks,
guys.
Right,
loving your work. Bye.
Do you know how we say, Dan, every single week, the guests are brilliant?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it this time. I thought she was shit.
You don't know what's it. You're just going to leave you.
I don't mean that, because I'd be on a wobble. Yeah, pot noodles till the end of time. I'll give her one thing. She's a bloody good cook, and she keeps me right.
Fair dues. Come on.
Right, where are we going now?
Before I have to be a witness in divorce court or whatever.
That's it. You almost married my dad, and you could almost divorce us. You get the full the circle of Miller family life.
Yeah, married your dad as in performed the ceremony.
Oh yeah, not married my dad. That would be a Jeremy Kyle situation.
That would be a Jeremy Kyle situation.
We've got a Saints story. We've not had one in a few weeks, actually, Dan, to be fair.
We've not had one in a few weeks. So I think it's high time for a glorious comeback.
Now, we were going to do the Club Shop of Shame, but we do not want to bring negativity of any sort into this podcast. It's a time for celebration and joyous triumph.
It's a very love is in the air in this episode. Love is all around.
Except with me and my wife.
Well, clearly not. Right, yeah.
Well, apart from that, but we do have a Saints story this week, and it's been sent in by regular Saints story contributor Kev Stewart.
It is. He's been good for his stories, Kev, and he's got another absolute belter for us.
If you remember back to previous episodes, he once played football with Tilisek Kerlioglu in his Sunday League football team when he just happened to walk past and he asked him to play, and he did. And he also picked Peter Fear's good old friend up from the airport, and Roddy Grant described her as a bint.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the kind of level we're on now.
That wasn't our most wholesome of moments, but
it wasn't.
This is a belter.
Sorry, I was putting the blinds up
Right.
there. I don't know if you heard that. Sorry, carry on.
Right, we'll get going. So Kev says, got a bell of a story, sitting on for a while. Basically, in the days before cameras were at all grounds, he used to do some filming for the managers. So at the time, he says it was Paul Sturrock and then Sandy Clark, and also for the TVs at the food kiosks. And he says this was the 90s, so it was no high tech equipment. So basically, it was a JVC camcorder and a 45-minute TDK tape. Other brands of camcorder and tape are available.
Like what ones?
Sony.
Yeah, they do. Max, was it Max? Not Maxwell, Max.
Oh no, you had Maxell.
Maxell, that was the one. They did VHS tapes.
Maxell, that was it. So anyway, he'd record in long play, making it 90 minutes exactly. He said there was one particular game against Dunfermline that he recorded the first half as usual, then done what he always did, nipped over to the East Stand for a chat with his mates. On returning, he had a realisation. He's like, fuck, I forgot to pause the tape. Long story short, the tape runs out with 15 minutes to go. This was before Gary Farker comes off the bench to score an absolute worldie. At the end of the game, he's dropping the tape on the gaffer's desk when he hears Gary shouting, Kev, the gaffer says I can borrow the tape for the weekend as I'm going back up to my parents tonight. Now, you have two ways you can go here. You can be honest and say, oh, shit, Gary, I'm so sorry, mate. I couldn't, explain what happened. Kev went the other way, says he did what any respectable person would do and handed him the tape and said nothing. Apparently, he watched the whole game with no footage of his goal.
Hey! That's horrible.
Gary Farker.
Gary Farker did not score many goals for St Johnstone, and the one chance of footage of it, Kev Stewart made a total dick of it. Good story, though.
It is a good story.
I wonder if he knows Gary Farker. I wonder if he knows that.
Probably works it out. But yeah, it's like there used to be, you have all these old BBC programs that just never show anymore. It's because they used to tape over them. They used to recycle tape, so tapes over stuff. So people's career highlights are just lost to the annals of history. This is what's happened with Gary and Kev here.
Yeah, this is it. He's ruined it. I used to record the old footage off the telly. The 96-97 season we went up, I used to record Scott Sport every Sunday, the St Johnstone highlights, and I had the tape and I lost it. Now, all the games I recorded have since resurfaced on YouTube, so I'm convinced that somebody found the tape and used it.
To be fair, there's probably more than one sad bastard who taped every game of sports.
Yeah, that's true. But it was just weird. Yeah, I taped them all for years. Anyway, we're not talking about VHS, but we do love the 90s.
Well, no, but you'd record Match of the Day or Sports Scene or whatever, and then your mum's taped over it with Soldier.
Heartbeat,
yeah, that would always be one.
I still call it video. I asked Lynne, said, can you make sure and video the Saints game on Saturday? That's like you still call it a Hoover, even though it's a vacuum cleaner. Hoover's a brand name.
Yeah, Tannoy. Let's not get into this, right?
Tipex,
yeah.
What's that called, actually?
Right. How have we got to a situation where Saints have just completed a cup double and we're talking about fucking colloquialisms for products based around brand names? How have we managed it?
Because we love the 90s.
Come on. Oh, we do love the 90s.
I'm just amazed you've managed to pull out the word colloquialism. I can barely say it.
That's what 5 years of university education does. It's good for nothing. Good for literally nothing else.
Tell you what's better than that. Google, correction fluid is the proper name for Tipex.
And I'll hear nothing more on than that. It's Tipex, and it always will be. And Google, if you can't understand that, mate, you fuck off and join Hibs down the scrap heap.
All right, Dan. But we'll have no more Saints stories until the end of the season. Or ship merch. They're done for the campaign. We do have an episode next week. We'll touch on that at the end of this show. But if you do have any stories about St Johnstone, about your time at Saints, anything that could take our fancy that's quite funny, let us know and we'll do our best to read it out. Also, the Club Shop of Shame. If you're looking through clubs' websites and they've got some terrible merchandise, listen back to our previous episodes for some absolute tosh that some clubs sell. Scotland are especially bad for it with their topiary ball leave metal cage thing, 50 quid. Outrageous. And a wheelbarrow shagging gnome for 25. That's the kind of thing we are looking for. Piss.
25 quid for perhaps the most perverse thing I've ever seen.
It really is quite perverse. But do you know what isn't perverse and is good value for money, Dan?
Razzle.
Maybe. Do people still buy porn mags?
Yeah, garage. The garage near me does a fine range in them.
Wow, I didn't know you still got them, especially with your phone. Anyway, good value. The Courier, £1.30. You can't even get half a pint of lager for £1.30.
You can't, and then that's gone in 2 seconds. A paper you can stretch out for hours.
It is, and especially looking at Monday's edition of the Courier, there's special Scottish Cup final coverage and a souvenir pullout.
Unbelievable. I don't know what more you could want.
But if I only pulled out after the 2014 Cup final, then my life might have been slightly different, but there we go.
Good grief, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. I do love Noel. But people ask me, what's Noel named after? And people say, is it Noel Gallagher or Noel Field? No, Noel Edmonds, big fan of the 90s.
Aye, so I'm just astonished Miles isn't actually called Mr. Blobby.
That's Lynne's nickname for me, unfortunately. But anyway, the Courier, great read. The most trusted man in Tayside media, Eric Nicholson. Even though he's got his own podcast, he's taken time out of his schedule to come join us tonight. Appreciate it, Eric. Thanks, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. Do you hear me all right?
I can hear you loud and clear. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, you're right, boys. Can you hear me?
Listen to this.
Sound.
High tech as it is.
Sophisticated kit you got here, eh?
only the finest DC Thompson equipment in this household, I'm going to show you. Thanks for joining us, Eric. It's your job to literally put what happened this weekend into words. How'd you go about doing that?
Listen, I've had to do that a few times this season, and it's like you just think you've seen it all, and then it goes and happens again, or it goes to a new level. It's just been unbelievable this year. I just can't. Usually, you cover St Johnstone, you think, okay, there'll be a semi-final, and even you get used to semi-finals along the way as well, just with it from sort of Owen Coyle era onwards, and you think, okay, you kind of get used to that. But 2014, you think, right, that's the final. It's not going to happen again. But this season has been off the scale. I think I was kind of getting my head around the fact after they beat Livingston, and then you saw the cup draw, with the double rounds as it was when they had Clyde and then Rangers or Celtic, and so I'm arriving at Ibrox, and I'm pretty much at that state. I'm thinking, right, it's going to be, the season's going to be winding down.
That's it.
might get a bit easier type thing, but that was just wow. Ibrox was. I've just been writing something there actually, and I'm trying to. You're not trying to put them in order, but you're kind of trying to rank. You're thinking what was the highlight and what was the sort of the standout one, and I think it will be Ibrox. I don't know about for you guys watching as fans, but I think Ibrox will just. I think it'll be the top of them all. I think it will. I think that'll be the top of all the sort of the big cup nights and the big cup games and all the rest of it. It was phenomenal. And then
it certainly, yeah, we talked about it today. Actually, we're going to do our kind of top 10 moments of the season next week, and we didn't know where the hell to. Where do you start with that? We could have had anything from Liam Craig's last minute goal, finishing things that didn't even make it. It was like the Kelly comeback when we were 2-0 down, and ending Livingston's unbeaten home run. And
it was funny when I did a piece for the match programme for the final there, and it was with Liam Craig, and he was going over. It was like one of those teammates thing, he was doing sort of wee chats about all of the players. And then when we finished that, we were talking about that as well and saying, like, where do you so many more? I mean, like I personally think Guy Melamed's goal at Hamilton was it meant that the sort of after Livingston, it didn't just sort of peter out, and it just kept them in the hunt for the European football, which if they hadn't, would they have had the momentum to keep this going? I don't know if they would have done, that. So just wee ones like that, you're right, getting 10. Good luck, fellas.
I think if it was a list of games that have put me through the mill, then Ibrox would be number one by a country mile. I felt more tense and stressed and exhausted by the end of that than I did in either of the finals or the semi-finals.
Oh, I know 100%. I know what you mean. I mean, for me, writing about it, that's what you originally asked me. That was the hardest, because I mean, you think usually, a 7:45 kickoffs are going to be the worst if there's extra time and penalties. But this one, it just seemed to go on. I mean, there just didn't seem to be enough time to just collate everything that was happening. It was just bonkers. I mean, thankfully, it wasn't a 7:45 game, because I was still walking down the press room thinking Xander had scored, because it just looked in the flesh that Xander had scored it. And it was like only after you got down the stairs, somebody said he didn't actually score it, because he was obviously, we now know he was running away, claiming it, but that was crazy stuff.
Now, to a man though, the team's been incredible. It's a very un-St Johnstone-like season. We're so used to heartache and heartbreak, like the Gretna experience, cup semi-finals, But as you say, the Hamilton victory, last goal against Ross County with Glen Middleton to get us in the top 6, holding on against Livingston in the last game of the season, 2 cup wins. It's I just don't know. It's just, it's so unlike St Johnstone. We're usually
there's so much of it. Yeah, so much of it. You're right. So much of it has been on St Johnstone. They've just been like the best way I could describe it is all of a sudden they've been taken over by. It's like they've got a big club mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not talking about in terms of fan bases, but just in terms of the way that they manage matches and just during games, the way they speak. They're just not like. They're not like St Johnstone used to be, or probably will revert to being. It can't go on like this forever, and who knows what will happen when the fans come back and all the rest of it. Not that I think that it's the fact that the crowds haven't been able to cheer the bigger clubs on has had a direct correlation on it, but there's just like this weird. It's like a cocktail of things. It's like a perfect storm. It's just happened, and it's all happening for them.
It really is, and you'll have your seat booked on the team flight out to, fingers crossed, Prague.
Oh God, who knows? Who knows? I've been leaving it to others to write up all these European permutations, so I'm going to have a proper look at it now. Listen, how good would it be if folk can actually travel to do it? That's the one thing about getting in later. It'll give more of a chance to. For more people to travel. I haven't even checked. When is the third qualifying round date? Are we getting into? Is it end of July?
End of July, start of August, I believe. So they've got they've got a wee bit of time between. So I think Hibs are back training in about 2 weeks' time to kickstart their round qualifying, which is absolutely insane. But
that'll cheer them up. Yeah,
it can be a good away trip though. How many of them did you make? I've never seen you in Lithuania.
I did Lithuania and I did Armenia. So I've not seen them win away from home because I used to. A lot of the time when it was always up against the Open, and I was covering a lot of Opens at the time. So I missed the good ones. I missed Rosenborg and I missed Luzern. So no, they're due an actual victory away from home. And great trip. Lithuania and Armenia were brilliant trips, but no, you kind of start to you want to think, can they go a wee bit further? That would be because that's another thing that Tommy didn't do. So it's. I think Callum will want to go a bit further than before, no doubt about it.
And that was going to be my next question. Where do Saints go from here?
It's a question you've asked. You probably ask every year, but
I know.
They're not going to do another double. But why can't they? I don't think they're going to go away. Put it that way. No. I think because of the cup money that they'll get, because the European money they'll get. I think they're now widening the gap between themselves and sort of clubs that you would think should be in their part of the world, like your Motherwells, your Kilmarnocks if they stay up, even Dundee United who've got their financial problems. So listen, Aberdeen are going to be all of a sudden. I think Aberdeen are could go one or two ways next season. I think they're likelier to be poorer than better. And Hibs, listen, the question marks that hang over them and the pressure that will be on them, given the two cup stories and the players that are going to lose. So listen, why don't you? It sounds bonkers. I think Hearts, they're not a happy club. I've never seen an unhappier club to get promoted. Why can't Saints shoot for third? There you go.
Exactly that. We'll recall this interview this time next year and say, look what happened. Eric called it. He pulled it right out the bag. Now,
I thought you were going to say when they were in a relegation battle.
I was going to say, win the relegation playoff. We'll be back knocking on your door, Eric.
It was when I did my sort of half-yearly review. And I did say, I was still sticking to it and being really optimistic and thinking Jason Kerr could be the captain with the Betfred Cup. I wasn't talking about Scottish Cup, but it was on it was on the edge, wasn't it? It was on a tightrope. It could have gone the other way.
It was amazing. Well, we talked in the podcast how there might not even been a Scottish Cup this year, and 2 weeks later, there's going to be one. Yeah. And all of a sudden, we've blooming won it. But overlooked for the Scotland squad, the team. They can't be far away. Surely, maybe it just came too soon.
I don't. One of the funnily enough for this moment in time and that squad, I think Xander had the best chance purely because of the goalkeeping situation. I think his was the strongest case for this championship. You can't. How do you go with a guy that's not playing football? And I think for the third goalie, I think Xander had a real strong case.
Yeah.
I think the case for the others, I mean, if you're asking me who do I think will be the future Scotland international with cap, I think it will be Jason Kerr. But for the case, I think he's suffering on the back of I think Steve Clarke's carrying a bit of a hangover from how Jason performed against Kilmarnock. I think Jason kind of half joked at the time when Clarke got appointed that, you know, I'm in trouble type thing, because he got sent off down there, and I think he had another sort of dodgy game against Kilmarnock. But I mean, it's when with Jason, you compare the other guys that are in there, and he's a better defender than Jack Hendry, in my opinion. He's a better defender than 2 or 3 of them. So if you look at it like that, he should be considered. But I think just the fact that had Scotland not qualified for a championships, and we were talking about friendlies and whatnot, surely he would have been in the shake-up. But yeah, it could. I'm afraid it could well be another one of these stories that as soon as they leave, they get called up.
Which seems to be all the common story. But hopefully we'll try and keep the majority of the squad. Do you think we'll keep the bulk of them?
I think. Listen, if you ask me who's the likeliest to leave, probably Ali McCann. I would say. I think there'll be more interest in him than the others. I think there's still a potential for Jason possibly extending and then maybe getting one more year out of Jason. I think it might be harder to keep Ali, but not that he's pushing for it. I think he'd be quite happy. But again, he's one you'd maybe look to try and extend if you're not going to sell him. But if they just lose Ali McCann, then I think it's a very good window. If they were to lose Ali McCann and Jason Kerr, I mean, or Jamie McCart for that matter, you know, Jamie McCart's another one. I know there's talk of clubs in England been watching him. So, you know, if you're to lose 2 of them, that's a bit of an issue. But one of them, that would be fine.
We'd live with that. We'll finish up one last question. Is this the biggest upset in Scottish football history?
You can't call it an upset because it's not one. It's not like the thing is, because if you boil it down to like individual games and stuff, none of them are like huge upsets. Even since winning at Ibrox. So no, in that way, I would say no. But I would say I think I've definitely come to the conclusion that it's the biggest Scottish domestic football story in a single season. I can't think of another one now, because I think the whole Lisbon Lions thing, you kind of got to give them their place. But in terms of actual what's happened in a Scottish league season, this has to be it, because you can't say any of the teams who have won a title has been a bigger achievement, because they've all kind of been expected, or they've all had a really good shot at it. Even your Dundee Uniteds and Aberdeens, and when they started off and winning titles. And can you say any individual cup by one of the minnows? Well, so what now? St Johnstone have done it twice, so they knocked them all out of the water. So there you go. That's how I'd frame it, rather than the biggest upset, if you see what I mean.
And that is why you're the most trusted man in Tayside media. And if you want to listen to more of you, Eric, you've got your own podcast out with Jim Spence et al. Where can you listen to that?
We do. That's the Courier Talking Football. So yeah, you'll find that on the Courier website. We retweet it every week. So yeah, there was a St Johnstone special before the cup final. So obviously we all predicted that Saints would win.
Eric, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thanks very much for coming on.
Anytime.
Thanks again, my friend. Take care, buddy.
Cheers, boys. Catch you soon.
Thanks, Eric.
See ya, bye.
Days after. Cheers, boys. Ta-ra.
Cheers, buddy.
I'd love to go to the pub with Eric. I think you would just sit and talk about football like that all night. It'd be tremendous.
I like talking about football with intelligent people who know what they're on about. This is why I only talk football with 2 people.
Who? Surely you're not touting me as one of them.
No, you're nowhere near. My mate Graham Felix off of the terrace, and my pal Tukes also. But Eric would get in there as well.
What about me, mate? Can I come into play?
Well, the thing of it is, Sam, you don't want to overcrowd matters, do you?
Me and you.
I talk football with you week in, week out, and it's a damn fine time for all concerned.
It really is.
Get there. Anyway.
Let's talk Europe. Before the season's out, we know we've got Europe. Now, I've seen some connotations today. We'll probably need to look at it in a bit more depth. We might do a wee European special, a wee doggers on tour when we know where we're going. But the teams I've seen being heralded around include Galatasaray, Sparta Prague, FC Copenhagen, Midtjylland, and who's the other one? AZ Alkmaar, maybe?
I'll tell you what, there's some good trips in there.
Difficult games.
Midtjylland, with some very tough games, some very good games. Midtjylland, if we are sort of thinking we might be able to get away by that point, we might be able to take some fans over. Still won't be pinning any hopes on, but let's not lose complete sight of it. Midtjylland is a little bit of a pain in the arse because it literally means the middle of land, just in the middle of nowhere.
What's that the equivalent of? Kinlochrannoch?
Yeah, probably Kinlochrannoch. So there we go.
The Danish
cultural tips with Dan and Sam.
It's better than 6 tips with Shelley Kerr.
Yeah, any of them would be fantastic. So I think, look, every single game amongst them, probably think Saints would be going in second favourites, but that don't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't matter at this stage. This
doesn't matter at all to us. And you know, if we're looking at it from a footballing sense, don't think it'll matter. Them players won't hold any fear.
Absolutely none. Not even in Galatasaray.
Welcome to hell.
I can't wait to get a banner like that in Norman stand when I'm sitting there with my 2 kids. Just welcome to hell. Just the 3 of us. You would just give them a thumbs up. Welcome to hell. Double thumbs up.
Miles stood there giving it the thumbs up. I'd be watching. I'd go a different approach. I'd be there in the main stand and just have a banner saying, "Hello, friends. Welcome to a thoroughly pleasant place. Hope you have a good time." There is a phenomenon like this in cricket, right? And don't mean to go on about cricket, but India fans and Pakistan and Bangladesh fans with overly respectful signs. So I remember when they had the World Cup in India, it would have been 2011. And I always remember this banner. This was sort of what epitomised it. But Andrew Strauss was England captain at the time, and England played against India in the group stage. And there was a banner in the crowd, and it said, "Andrew Strauss, we have great respect for you and your team, but today will not be your day. Sorry."
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Oh, we love you, Kevin Peterson, but you will lose today.
Saints are the European equivalent of the half and half scarf. Eh? They're just like with the shaky hand in the middle. Just want to be nice to everybody. I think, remember at Lucerne, it was like that. There was some Swiss guys came down to kick off a fight and Saints was like, "Fuck off, not interested. We're here for a good time." Just they were not that type of fan base.
No. I mean, could be worse. You could be a fan base who tears the living shit out of your own city.
Yeah.
But there we go. No, I think any it's just something now to look forward to.
I know. All eyes will be on whatever the draw's made.
Could we have got in the group stage if things had gone a different... There's some weird thing with a coefficient in Chelsea.
I know, I've seen that. If Chelsea finished 5th, we would have gone straight... I don't know how it worked, but we'll take it.
If they'd finished 5th, I think they had to finish 5th and beat City next Saturday.
Okay.
And something like we're getting it a later round or in the group stage even or something. It was some absolute number wang with the coefficient, which I don't understand anyway.
No, we've got 4 games guaranteed. 4 games guaranteed, which is... Yeah. So the way it's working is we go into the Europa League 3rd round qualifying. So if we win that, we go into the playoff round of the Europa League and then into the group stages. If we lose either of them, if we lose the 3rd round qualifier, which is our first tie back in Europe, we go straight into the Conference League playoff round. Following me so far?
Right. Just about.
So, but if we win our 3rd qualifying Europa League match, we go into the playoff round. Now, if we lose our playoff round, we go straight into the group stages of the conference.
Right. Okay. I think I've got you.
We'll look at all the permutations at a later date.
We're going to Europe.
We're going to Europe. That is the main thing.
We're going to Europe. That's what that is.
1 word.
Prague.
2 more words.
Piss up.
1 more word.
Tits.
So, Dan, we got a message in from Rebecca at Saints in the Community, who, as we know, and we've waxed lyrical about so often, the amazing work they do. Now, Rebecca's got in touch with me, Dan, and they've got a new evening on a Tuesday night called Let's Kick It. So it's a program that's recently started, and they're keen to spread the word. The sessions are aimed to support adults with their mental health. As we all know, Dan, it's been a really tough year for everyone, feeling of being overwhelmed, low mood, anxiety. They hope they can help people to kick those feelings to the side for an hour and just be immersed in an hour of football, which is a brilliant old thing to do. And the sessions take place at the Northwich Community Campus on a Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 7:30, and will be running until Tuesday, the 27th of July. Now, these are all non-competitive sessions and have appropriate COVID safeguarding in place. Now, there's no planned discussions about individuals' mental health at these sessions, and instead exercise, a weekly routine, and like-minded peers are anticipated to have a positive impact. Football is the focus, and what a bloody wonderful thing to do.
Tremendous. And, as I say, we've waxed lyrical about Saints in the Community's work. We can fully vouch for the wonderful things that they do. And for anyone just out there feeling, because we all can be in the best of times, and this hasn't been the best of times, we can all feel a little bit overwhelmed, and we can all, have our bad times.
We can. I know about it better than most. I've had my troubles with mental health. It can affect anybody. But if you do want to go, as I say, Northwich Community Campus, Tuesdays 6:30 to 7:30. If you want to get involved, call 01738 459 095. That number again is 01738 459 095. It's called Let's Kick It. It's basically an hour of football. Just take your mind off whatever problems you have with like-minded people. You might be overwhelmed with work, anxiety, anything at all. It's a brilliant thing to do, and as we say, mental health is key.
Lovely that we now sort of all restrictions allow us to do that.
Brilliant. So as I say, the number again is 01738 459 095, and that's the Let's Kick It. So turn up, play, and feel better. Free weekly sessions to support adults who are struggling with their own mental health. Brilliant. What a nice note to finish this brilliant episode off with, Dan. What a week it has been. It
absolutely is that. It's been a heck of a week. You know what we didn't even mention?
Go on.
The gaffer sliding head first into a door.
Oh, that was the highlight of the whole day.
Oh, the funniest thing I've seen.
Brilliant.
He nearly cleared Big Rooney out.
It just shows he's part of the team, part of the squad. What a brilliant way to end the season. But we're not finished yet, Dan.
We're not finished yet. We have got one episode to go. A little bit of a different one, but we hope it'll be a good one, Sam.
Yeah, as you've seen, we unveiled the Ballon d'Or last week trophy, the Fred McKercher Memorial Trophy, the Dogger Saints Unofficial St Johnstone Podcast Player of the Year Trophy, and we will announce who won that next week. We're also going to talk down, as we discussed with Eric, our top 10 moments of the season, see who got in, who didn't. Maybe Callum Head sliding head first into the door won it. Who knows? But we might do our top 5 Club Shop of Shame items of the season.
You know what? It's going to be an extravaganza. We're going to go out with a bang.
I think so, but enjoy the rest of your week. Do not ever forget what's happened. Season tickets are on sale. If you've got one this season, by God, please sign up, because when the players walk out the first day in the season, let's get as many fans in that ground. On the 3rd of June, I believe it is, season ticket general sale is available. Yep. So get signed up, support the team. There's finance available and it's easily affordable. Everybody was buying the whiskey and tops and things. Get yourself a season ticket, support the team, get down. Let's make next season an unbelievable one to remember. And thanks to absolutely everybody again for listening. We've had an absolutely tremendous run this season. It's been great fun. Thanks to every single guest we've came on, past and present, mainly the ones from the 90s.
Oh, we do like the 90s, but to all of them. And you know what? It's been such a thrill talking to these guys and hearing their memories and their perspective. It's something I never thought had happened to me, mate. I'm not going to lie to you. And so just a huge thank you to them and to you, Sam, for basically being the brains behind this whole operation.
I wake up in the middle of the night, think of an idea and scribble it down, then wake up in the morning going, why have I written that down? What's that got to do with anything? So my head's always thinking about ways we can make this podcast better. If you've got any suggestions of anything you would like us to cover or see, do let us know. We always appreciate feedback. If you're on Apple Podcasts, listen to that. Please write us a nice review. We're also on YouTube as well, so leave a nice comment. Or as the Americans say, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. That's what they always say.
That's what you got to do. Also, we need to give a big shout out here for the YouTubers who will have seen this, but to our mate Norrie, who, if you see the YouTube videos, they are absolutely hilarious. So we need to give Norrie a big shout out, because he does all the graph behind that just in his own time. And yeah, so and that's it. That's the whole thing. It's not just me and Sam. With a whole group of happy helpers and people that sound things off. You know, all the Dogger Saints who are absolutely invaluable to this. We're going to need the Oscars music in a second. But again, the biggest thank you, as ever, all of you lunatics who listen to this, and thank you so much, because it's been just an enormous thrill.
Do you know who I want to thank? The team. Because if they weren't so DOS, nobody would be listening.
Oh, they are fucking DOS-like. They are
pure DOS-like.
DOS always meant bad when I was going. They are mint. I'm going to bring in a northern expression. They are absolutely mint. And so fair play to them for that. You know what? The whole thing's just been a wonderful time. Hopefully it all continues on from next August onwards. And we'll be back next week, but then we'll be back for the European tour.
We certainly will be. We'll see you next week. And remember, hashtag our number 32, hashtag Big Dick Energy. Congratulations to Calvin and the boys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.